Connor's Degrassi Unpopular Opinions. Hey there, hello there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond with yet another Degrassi Opinions video. And of course, one of the most unpopular opinions out there in the Degrassi Reddit community is basically Alex getting off scot-free in season 4. I will tell you about that part and also another opinion that I may have that might be a good opinion or a bad opinion depending on who you are. And basically it's that, Alex hurting Rick was actually a way of revenge for her mother's boyfriends. Okay, so anyway, Alex's role in the Rick Murray situation started in season 4. She was actually running for school council election against Marco. Marco narrowly beat Alex. Alex basically is upset, but Marco names Alex VP because he figures that Alex would be a good vice president. And Alex agrees. Alex basically tells everyone she's going to do her best. And basically, she ends up finding out with Marco that Rick is back at Degrassi, no strings attached. So she arranges a meeting with Radish. And in the deleted scene that we stupidly don't see first, right? Basically, Raj said that with Terry out of the school and into private school, he can't really comment on her affairs. And Alex says that basically she's out of private school because she's scared. She's scared of Rick coming back to the school and all that. She has a point. But Raj also said that, to my knowledge, I don't think he has a criminal charge. So basically, it, of course, raises the question that if Rick had a criminal charge, would Radish have been allowed to take him back? I think Radish probably would have thought twice. And that's the thing, though, too, because when you look at the Rick Murray situation without those deleted scenes, you don't get the fact that Raj actually would only let Rick back because Rick had no criminal charge and everyone deserves a second chance. Fair enough. So basically, that would have made Raj less of an evil person. And in the other deleted scene, basically, he feels bad and he wants to help Rick out and all that. Of course, Snake doesn't believe anything. But anyway, Alex says that basically he's a danger to women. And this is not about GPA and all that. Now, it could possibly have been GPA related because of Rick's smartness. Because, you gotta remember, Degrassi doesn't get a lot of the budget. And in a little cutaway in season 4, in the first episode when Ashley and Craig are talking, Raj is talking to, I would say Miss Lawrence, but no, I'm losing my head here. Who was he talking to? Mr. Armstrong, that's it. Mr. Armstrong. And about the budget. Mr. Armstrong needs some supplies, and Raj says, well, the budget hasn't come to us yet. When do you need supplies? So basically, yeah, that's a kind of a weird thing. It's like, maybe Raj is thinking that better academics means better funding and all that. True. So very, very true. But Alex is angry and all that. And she doesn't hide it. Basically, what ends up happening is that Alex doesn't really get too much involved until she sees Emma and Rick talking. Rick offers a check to Emma. Emma says, you can't buy forgiveness. And then she looks at the checks, like more than $500. Is like, this could help the cause. Alex basically takes the check from Emma and basically tells Rick, get off. Emma says, Alex, the check? Rip. Real nice, Alex. You don't know anything about the cause. And Alex says, oh, really? Do you have to deal with your mother's ex-boyfriends who are abusive towards them? Do you have to basically put her to sleep when she cries herself to sleep and basically ices her injuries down and have to live in shelters and all that? Like, to credit, like, I'll give Emma credit. I mean, Emma didn't know that Alex was dealing with this. And it's like, oh yes, Alex has a connection. It's not about Rick. It's a connection with domestic violence. Hey, you know what? Emma and Alex working together. But unfortunately, Emma demanding the check kind of did ruin things. Alex basically tells Paige that Emma feels some sympathy towards Rick. Emma basically says that that's false. I can prove it. And trips Rick up. And basically everyone beats up on him. Alex is next. Emma steps in front of her saying, no, 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 this has gone too far. This is not helping the cause. Alex says, your cause and everything is over. And Emma says, no cause is worth this. And basically the whole school ignores Emma and all that for being hypocritical. Of course, the power of Paige. And basically, you know, all that. Like, you know, Alex's behavior towards Rick was terrible. I mean, you know, and being part of the group that the last 3 people who were destroying Rick with the paint and feathers thing. It was just her, Spinner, and Jay. I don't know why Jay would have an involvement in this. I mean, Spinner, yeah, because of how Rick abused Terry, put her in a coma. He was there when Rick had blood on his hands, literally. But Jay, I think, was there for Alex. And Jay, I think, was also there to help Spinner out. So basically, you know, he was there to beat up Rick. He didn't care about anybody. He may have cared about Alex's problems, but he was just a selfish prick, as he normally is. So anyway, Rick gets paint and feathered. Alex sets everything up by making sure that Spinner and Jay had access to the spot where Rick would be and all that. It's kind of weird. It's like, well, how did they know exactly where Rick was going to stand and all that? Rick could have stood a few feet in either direction and they would have missed Rick. It would have been like, oh my God, you missed. We missed him. But I think that Spinner and Jay basically knew where Rick was going to be, and basically they weren't there. All that. Alex returns to her seat, but Spinner and Jay don't. So something fishy's going on here. So yeah, they get him, and basically that might have been making Rick. But anyway, Alex is upset because she feels like, you know, at how Rick was. Like, she paint and feathered him, and then basically Alex realizes that someone got shot, and it's like, oh my gosh, why did I get involved? Jay tells her everything's fine, and then basically she knows something's wrong because the news reports say all this stuff about Rick and what might have triggered him and all that. She goes on the Monday to talk to Sauve, but Jay tells her, don't say anything bad about me and all that. It's kind of weird. And then basically, you know, Alex never gets mentioned about being part of the Rick Murray situation. I know that she felt, I think in season 6, she was bullying people, and then she had to step back saying that bullying people is not a good thing because, you know, the Rick Murray situation and all that made her a villain in that. And it's kind of weird how Alex basically managed to get herself into the clique with Paige and all of them at the expense of Spinner and Jay. So basically, Alex may have, you know, been happy with that. But of course, everyone asks, why the hell did Alex just get lucky and not get punished? Well, it's a 2-pronged approach. But anyway, yeah. You know, Jay and Spinner have the most to do with that situation. Because Jay and Spinner, like Spinner, he knew that he and Jay were responsible for the paint and feather that sent Rick over the edge. And they basically made it look like Jimmy was the inside man when they were trying to eliminate their guilt and all that. And then all of a sudden, Jimmy got shot and all that. And I think Spinner basically was more mad at Jay than Alex. I mean, Spinner and Jay basically pinning things on Jimmy was kind of on purpose because, you know, Jimmy abandoned them in their time of need, if you will. But, I mean, like, yeah, no, they knew Alex set everything up. But Spinner also knew that it wouldn't have been right because Alex had no clue that he and Jay basically pinned things on Jimmy and all that. Spinner did Alex a solid. Jay wanted to be with Alex and all that. So basically, Jay would never have pinned Alex and all that. I think Jay was pining for Alex again because he lost her because he gave Alex gonorrhea. You know, remember Secrets and all that? How Alex was out of the play? And so was Amy because of this gonorrhea thing. And Emma got that you gave me a social disease thing. Like, that's what I feel like and all that. So yeah, so Alex basically, was upset with Jay and all that. I think if Alex got questioned about it, she would have probably put Jay in trouble because of him giving her gonorrhea. Anyway, it's basically that things look bad in a sense. It's like Alex just got lucky and all that. Also, why she didn't get caught was because there was no evidence towards her. And the fact of the matter is, other than the paint and feathers thing, and she didn't pour it on them, it was Jay and Spinner. It wasn't like, like she said, she helped set it up and all that. But there was like no evidence. And, that no one accused her of anything, even though that some people knew that she was in with bowling Rick alongside Spinner and Jay. So she just got lucky. I mean, I would have loved to see Alex basically get what's coming to her. Now, the question on everyone's lips would be, if Alex had confessed everything to Hatzalakos, would she have gotten expelled too? Possibly, possibly not. Because, in 2004, compared to 2020, women's rights were not as sharpened as they are nowadays. So basically, maybe Hatzalakos would have cut Alex a break. Maybe Alex probably would have been suspended, but not expelled. Maybe Alex would have had a lot of detentions, all that. The only people who got punished because of the paint and feathers thing was Spinner and Jake. That's because they basically pinned each other. Nobody else got punished. Like, Paige never got any punishment for her role in trying to get rid of Rick. Jimmy didn't get punished because of what he did to Rick. Well, although being in a wheelchair was kind of punishment enough. And Paige's problems and guilt. Maybe the guilt was punishment enough. I don't think Hatzalakos would have went after anyone else. So, yeah. So I think Alex probably might have got lucky. But I think Alex would have been stripped of her student council vice presidency. Marco would have probably picked Paige to be his right-hand woman, if you will. But this also brings another opinion, is that Alex basically knew what she was doing when she was hurting Rick. Basically, when she was hurting Rick and all that, she envisioned her mother's ex-boyfriends. Basically, Alex visualized one of her mom's ex-boyfriends being Rick and all that. Like Rick replacing it with the face of some other guy. And basically beating up Rick, pardon. And basically, it was a way of beating up her mother's ex-boyfriends for what they did to her. I mean, Alex had first-hand experience about abusive men and all that. So, I mean, she wanted to get revenge. And I think she also, in the back of her head, wanted to get revenge on everyone who beat up her mother. So she basically took her aggressions out on Rick and all that. So, anyway, yeah. So, what do you think? Do you think Alex should have been punished? Well, I think she should. What type of punishment should Alex have deserved, in a sense? Think about it. So anyway, that'll be it for a while on Degrassi Unpopular Opinions. I don't really have any more unpopular opinions to talk about. And I've done pretty well. I've got 17, is it? 17 or 18. I should have an even number. Well, of unpopular Degrassi opinions in that playlist. So anyway, thanks for watching. There will be more Degrassi videos with the Degrassiisms playlist and maybe some unpopular opinions when I get to think about unpopular opinions. But anyway, thanks for watching and have yourself a good day.